half of Newark Parish Council has resigned in protest at the UK government overturning a planning decision on housing. Councillors had rejected a plan to build 50 houses on a nearby farm because it didn't fit the Newark neighbourhood plan. Councillors were outraged that the government had interfered with their decision and so quitted in protest. Lewes residents will be stranded in the town this week as a massive transport strike hits the region. Drivers at Southern Rail have joined train conductors in an all-out stoppage of rail services. The controversial strike coincides with a tube stoppage in London, virtually paralysing all routes from the south coast. 2 men wielding a meat cleaver robbed a Peacehaven petrol station of £200 last week. The robbers took the cash from Star Fuels after forcing the attendant to open the safe. Police have CCTV video of the men and have started a search for the culprits. If it's December in Lewes, it must be late night shopping. Fun, festivities, not quite freezing weather, and some nice music too.
I'm collecting my stamps to get the whole page full up with stamps so that I can win a prize.
What are you going to win? A day out with the mayor?
I have too many of those.
Not to do that.
Looking for something festive, something frilly and something exciting, I think.
It's a great evening. Always good to be down in Harvey's Yard.
Fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
How many have you sold?
We're on about, this is about number 55 and we got 45 to go. So we thought 100 pizzas, then we pack up and go out.
So how's that shopping been at Tizzy's?
It's been wonderful. Lots of all sorts of people buying all sorts of things. It's been a really nice evening.
Really good.
Are you enjoying it? Are you stuck here at this crossroads?
I am stuck at this crossroads, but everything's been going on. I've had Morris men, I've had carol singers. It's been really nice.
Brilliant. And so ends another late night extravaganza here in Lewes. And Christmas isn't very far away.
On the trail of Father Christmas. Each year he drives in his sleigh to visit me. And some children, of course, with gifts and merriment and general good cheer. And each year some people take advantage of him. The worst of these, of course, are the 1 or 2 people who take a drink or 3, have a jolly time in the pub or bar, then, like Santa, try to drive. Not a sleigh, but a car. Well, be warned. Last Thursday, December the 1st, 300 police fully trained for catching drunk and drug drivers took to the streets, supported by hundreds more uniformed police, to make sure the drink drivers don't spoil Christmas for the rest of us. Apart from risking tragedy through accidents, drink drivers can find they have their licence suspended for 12 months, get 6 months in prison, or in very serious cases, be put behind bars for 14 years. That's a lot of Christmases to miss from friends and family. There are other bad guys out there at Christmas time as well. Crooks look for unwary revellers who leave their bags on chairs and floor. And pickpockets love Christmas. Their earnings go through the roof. So police want to remind you, inside pocket, not back pocket. And be especially careful in crowded shops and markets.
Keith Hayes on the lookout for crooks this year. Who knows? I might just spot Santa.
In the heart of Lewes Town Centre is Cycle Shack, a unique store and workshop with goals to help and equip Louisians with the highest quality biking tech. Together, Harvey and Luke work in the store on Friars Walk to build and maintain all kinds of bikes, from road and mountain bikes to colourful frog bikes for children. A recent addition to the store is a collection of e-bikes featuring pedal assistance, for less time on steep mountain climbs and more time speeding downhill.
Anything you can think of, we can get it in, we can build it bespoke and specially for you, or you can get an off the rack bike, but you know, we like to make sure that our customers in here know us, we know them. We get to know our customers a lot. It's a big cycling community around with the downs right next door and the good cycle paths around as well. Also on the way to the station on Friars Walk here, we get loads of people just popping in on the way back or to and from work, which is really nice. And like I say, kind of having everyone around Lewes knowing us, and us knowing them and their bikes, it means that we can actually kind of be part of the community. I think the biggest thing with cycling is, if you're new to it, is getting out there and doing it. So if you're not sure of what you want, or you've never done it before, it's always good to chat. So I mean, come in, we've got 2 shops obviously, come into one of them, speak to us, we'll be able to point you in the right direction of bike, size, budget, what you're looking to do, where you're looking to do it. If you want more information about kind of cycle clubs or cycle lanes or anything like that, it's all about who you know and what you want to know, really.
That is the amazing Mark Bassey on trombone with my trio at the new monthly jazz club in Lewes at Tom Payne's Chapel, Splashpoint Jazz. Here's some more. Trombone is such a great instrument and it's so soulful, and there's something about it that just gets you here. I hope you're enjoying that too. Also, the acoustic in Tom Payne's Chapel in Westgate is incredible, and I'm very pleased to be playing there every month. We hope to see you on the second Sunday of each month. Next guest is Roger Beaujolais. Remember him? On the Vibes. Come on, Mark, play us out.
This week I'm at the Keeping Farmer to look at Nightmare on High Street, an incredible plan to destroy the centre of Lewes with a so-called relief road that almost happened. So on this plan, Chris, which is this horrendous relief road plan, we've got 7 split level junctions, including this one here, which is at the end of Malling Street.
Right.
So we're coming down from Mealway Corner,
Yeah.
and then rather than the tunnel, we've got this over flyover.
Yes, dwarfing the Gyra Chapel on its west side there. This is Phoenix Causeway, which was the only bit of the relief road scheme that got built. The Uckfield line, dear to your heart, is still
Yes.
there, and they're accommodating it by sending it over the dual carriageway on a bridge. The massive roundabout and split level junction carrying North Street over the new road.
So what have we lost here in terms of Lewes environment and housing and so on?
We've lost the telephone exchange, the site of the current new police headquarters and some houses.
And all these streets here, this is Sun Street, Abinger Place, have all been truncated
Yeah,
to facilitate this. The Elephant and Castle on the corner, is that right?
that's right.
Which then you can...
Over a precipitous drop down to the carriageway, they've very kindly given it a little car park and turning space, because all these roads have been blanked off. The road hugs the south boundary of the paddock, but it would have been not a pleasant place to be. And as for Paddock Lane, again,
that's here.
Paddock Lane,
Yeah.
at its upper end, is teetering on the brink of the drop down to the dual carriageway. So I hope they were planning some nice fences.
And another split level junction here for Bradford Road.
Yeah.
Then another one for the High Street.
Yep.
So whereabouts in the High Street would this be? Because here
Well,
we've
that's
got...
St Anne's Church.
Right.
So the site of the windmill in which Richard, King of the Romans, was captured during the Battle of Lewes in 1264, which is the reservoir, which is just there, that would have gone from St Anne's Church up to the corner of St Anne's Crescent, apart, of course, from the entry into County Hall. That would all have gone.
I see the County Council's left intact.
Yes, the road rather subtly sweeps round the northern side of County Hall. The Winterbourne Hollow coming up to the traffic lights at the prison, that's spanned by another flyover.
So this would have taken out, would Dale Road, streets like that in Lewes?
Yeah.
Had this gone ahead, this would have been a complete traffic night, apart from destroying the environment, it would have been a complete traffic nightmare for Lewes.
And there'd be still probably no bypass.
No.
And then there would have been a bypass later, and all this would have been redundant, and its sole purpose would have been to wreck the town.
Yes. Lewes had another lucky escape 30 years earlier, when someone proposed putting St Michael's Church on a traffic island.
And it's an early solution to what was clearly already perceived as a traffic problem in Lewes. They've introduced what's known to traffic engineers as two-way working. So if you want to go towards Brighton, you go on the south side, and if you want to go towards Ringmer, you go on the north, leaving St Michael's Church on a traffic island, with a lovely slabby 1930s building dwarfing it on its north side.
It doesn't do much for the environment of the castle, does it?
No, and it doesn't do much for St Michael's Churchyard either, because they would have had to have cleared tens of thousands of burials, probably dating back to before the conquest, because St Michael's one of the earliest churches in Lewes. before they plonk this great office block on top. Quite horrendous.
When planning was approved earlier this year for the North Street Quarter development by Santon and Lewes District Council, money was set aside to upgrade Pells Park and Malling Field for residents. The public have been invited to consultations on the new proposals to have a say in what kind of upgrades they'd like to see the £1.1 million spent on. Here I am at St John's Church Hall in Talbot Terrace, where Lewesians have been asked to come to consult. What do you think about these ideas for the Pells Recreation Ground?
Well, the Pells Recreation Ground, I feel, is doesn't need any other development. It needs maintaining, and it might need renewal of its equipment, but it doesn't need any more there. It needs to retain what open space it's got, which is very important for children, and it certainly doesn't need a footpath through it.
And pretty much I'd leave it as an open space free for people to be able to use as they wish, rather than it being too organised.
Okay.
And that's why I've come, because I'm concerned that we're going to have tons of over-implemented parks and equipment, and I think it's good to have a big space that people can just use.
Relaxing. What would you do with the 1.1 million that's been allocated to improving the area?
I think it might be a good idea to have, I don't know what the plans are quite now for Phoenix, but they originally were talking about an extra bridge further up near Tesco's as a footbridge, which would be good, and a sort of riverside walk, but emphasising lots of trees and green open spaces.
I think that one of the things about the planning system is that it's there to generate improvements to local facilities when you get new people coming into the town. And I think that it's important that we therefore look at this positively and constructively.
I actually don't think it needs much improvement, to be honest. I think it's kind of got everything. You know, we come down and we feed the ducks and we look for squirrels in the park. There's loads of different play options for different ages there. Personally, I'm really happy with it.
It's free for all the children to do whatever they want to do down there, if it's just running about or playing ball. And the equipment they've got down there is okay, but it does need to be maintained, and it does need to have a few more extras.
Some improvement.
Yes, it does need some improvement.
Bit of
because it's not
upgrading.
really been looked after for years. Other than that, I don't think, according to the families, they don't want a lot of change.
I spoke to Rupert, an architect working for Santon and hosting the consultation.
We started at 9 o'clock, and we haven't been doing a number counter, but we think we've had about 75 to 100 people today.
Strong views?
Very strong views from nearly everybody that's come in, which has been really, really helpful and informative for us.
Sounds like Lewesians have some quite feisty opinions about what they'd like to see around here. So, as with most consultations, don't expect a walk in the park.
Food waste is a huge global issue that can be effectively tackled on a local level. I'm here in Ashdown Forest with the Gleaning Network, a group helping to reduce the amount of food waste on Sussex farms.
What I find really interesting about Gleaning is that it's a really great way to get in touch with the diversity of food that is grown in the UK.
Vera Zakharov is the Sussex Gleaning Network coordinator, who encouraged umbrella organisation Feedback Global to set up in our area.
I think there is a kind of excitement that people get out of salvaging food. You know, it's sort of finding a treat or foraging. But I personally feel like the way we interact with nature, with the world that looks after us and feeds us, is actually by how we interact with its resources. And I almost don't like thinking of food as a resource. I think of it as a lifeblood and a connection and a kind of a greater extension of ourselves and our natural environment. The way we treat our food as a society can be indicative of the way we treat one another.
In the UK, most farm-level food waste is caused by seasonal gluts and fruit and veg that is deemed too big, too small or too wonky for commercial sale. It may seem small, but the impact of this is far-reaching.
Globally, the biggest problem with food waste is actually the carbon footprint of it, and also the water footprint. And this is a major issue when globally we're wasting anywhere from a third to half of everything that we produce from our soil.
Typical produce gleaned in Sussex includes orchard fruits, leafy greens and root vegetables. Today we're here for the beetroot. Once Vera locates a farm with a surplus, she coordinates a band of volunteers to harvest the leftovers. These are then sent on to the partner charity FareShare for redistribution to around 80 local projects. But there's still another way that gleaning helps the community.
It's an activity where everybody has something to give and to contribute, and it makes you really feel like you're part of a community and you're really valued. And that's not something I kind of expected going into this, but it's certainly, I would say probably my favorite thing about this work is the human element, that if we're not really connecting with one another and if we're not really looking after each other first and foremost, then I don't think we're really going to solve these bigger global issues.
If you want to get involved with or find out more about the Gleaning Network, visit feedbackglobal.org.
This week's buskers are the Scar Tunes.